it was pretty much a given that sooner or later Miami Vice would do an episode about zombies. Tale of the Goat, which was written by Jim Trombetta and directed by Michael O'Herlihy, makes the most of the popularity of zombies in 1980s pop culture. Prominent zombie films in the first half of the decade included The Evil Dead, Night of the Comet, and Return of the Living Dead, while over on MTV, music videos such as Duran Duran's Night Boat and especially Michael Jackson's Thriller were zombie-centric. Zombies, particularly the kind associated with the practice of Haitian Voodoo, were clearly having a moment. Enter Miami Vice. Crockett and Tubbs meet the arriving coffin of a recently deceased drug lord, which has been flown from Haiti to Miami. The drug lord, nicknamed Legba after the Haitian voodoo spirit of that name, was a voodoo practitioner who would keep his minions in line through threats of curses. Tubbs and Crockett stake out Legba's funeral. While Phantom Living by the Fix plays, they secretly photograph Legba's accomplices. The funeral guests include Legba's former girlfriend Marie, played by Denise Thompson, and his right-hand man Romulus, played by Mykelti Williamson from Forrest Gump, who also had a small role in the pilot episode, and who, at this time, was married to Miami Vice star Olivia Brown, though if IMDb is to be trusted, it looks like they got divorced 2 weeks after this episode aired. The funeral is interrupted by a helmeted man on a motorcycle who shoots up Legba's coffin before speeding off. Crockett opens the coffin to find it contains a dead goat and no Legba. Meanwhile, Legba awakens in his lair, having been roused by his henchmen, and he's fine. Fine both in the sense that he's still very much alive, despite Crockett and Tubbs having viewed his apparent corpse at the Miami airport, and fine in that he's played by TV heartthrob Clarence Williams III, best known for playing Link on the Mod Squad, who is a very handsome man. Crockett, Tubbs, and Castillo consult with a police department doctor, played by iconoclastic theater director Peter Sellers, who is famed for his avant-garde stagings of classic works, and who is not to be confused with actor Peter Sellers, who is famed for playing Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther films. The doctor theorizes that Legba injected himself with tetrodotoxin, which is sometimes used in voodoo ceremonies. When combined with psychedelics, it can leave the victim in something approximating a zombie state. Crockett and Tubbs go into giggle fits at the discovery they're investigating zombies, but Castillo, who has seen some things in his time, is grimly silent, and it's clear he's thinking, yeah, zombies. That seems possible. To find Legba, Tubbs and Crockett trail Romulus, who has shacked up with Marie. They follow him to a used car salesman named Bobby Profile, played by Ray Sharkey, who launders money for Romulus through his dealership. Legba and his henchmen ambush Romulus at an arcade and murder him to transformation by soul funk singer Nona Hendrix. Legba then blows up Bobby Profile's car dealership, with Bobby Profile still inside. Figuring Marie may be next on Legba's hit list, Vice stashes her on Crockett's boat and assigns Gina to protect her. Legba's goons raid the boat, and while Gina manages to shoot one of the attackers, another manages to kidnap Marie. Marie had told Gina about a ceremony that Legba would regularly conduct to initiate newcomers, so Tubbs volunteers to crash the ceremony to find her. To the tune of Can't Turn Back by Red Rider, Tubbs hangs out on street corners, waiting for voodoo practitioners to pick him up and turn him into a zombie. Legba identifies Tubbs as a cop and injects him with tetrodotoxin and psychedelics, which pretty much means that Tubbs will be tripping balls for the rest of this episode. Crockett finds Tubbs the next morning, barely alive, with Legba and Marie nowhere in sight. Tubbs revives at the hospital to Todd Rundgren's Flesh off his 1981 album Healing. Still tripping balls, Tubbs briefly assumes Crockett is Legba and tries to murder him. Weirdly, neither Castillo nor Dr. Peter Sellers make any attempt to stop him, and it just kind of seems like the entire cast has given up on this episode by this point. Tubbs also hallucinates Marie repeatedly saying the word Blackbird, which turns out to be the name of Legba's boat, which he's planning to sail back to Haiti. Crockett and Tubbs raid the Blackbird, and while Legba tries to use his zombie mind control powers on Tubbs, Tubbs manages to resist. He shoots and kills Legba and rescues Marie. Due to its roots in the Caribbean, Haitian Voodoo is a perfect subject matter for a gripping Miami Vice episode. But this is not that episode. A few years after this, Wes Craven would take the idea of Haitian Voodoo and really run with it in his film The Serpent and the Rainbow, which was based on the nonfiction book by ethnobotanist Wade Davis, which succeeded by doing its research and taking voodoo seriously. By comparison, this episode's just kind of silly. In general, if your story idea could be the basis for a pretty rip-roaring Scooby-Doo episode, it's probably not right for Miami Vice, though I would argue that with a little more time and care, this story could have worked. Crockett and Tubbs take a passive role in most of the plot, spending much of their time on stakeouts. We get a lot of scenes featuring them sitting and watching stuff happen from a distance, which limits our emotional investment. It's not a disaster. Clarence Williams III brings a hammy grandeur to Legba, who, it seems, came back from the dead not quite right. Honestly, I love that Miami Vice has a zombie episode at all, even if it's not very good. Mostly, it's a lot of unfulfilled potential, so I'm going to give this one 2 flamingos. Next time, brace yourself for the full tilt gonzo weirdness of Bushido, which is an episode that defies description. Frankly, I'm not sure I'm emotionally ready to dive into this one, but I will do my best. I hope you'll help me muddle through the glorious insanity. Until then, have a splendid week and try not to let the zombies get you. I'll see you later.